You know what really grinds my gears? When I start a Pokemon game and I can piss on a powerful TM from the starting location, but I can't get to it because there's a puddle in the way. Yeah, Troll Freak strikes again. It's almost as bad as the Earthquake TM in Black and White 1, to be honest with you. So, this first treasure was in Aspertia City. So, next we're going to fly off to Bob Town, because the next one is pretty close. In fact, it's on Route 19, the very first route that we have been to in this game. So, what you want to do, you want to head over here. There's some water. There's a path that goes left, another one that goes right. Over here, we have a water stone. So, if you want to use something like a Vaporeon, I don't know, this is where you want to come to. And over here, well, screw that, because this ain't an Audino, that's for sure. Now, up here, there's an item which is a nest ball, and you may remember the area that we're heading to right now, where there's a hidden item, which is an expert belt. This is the area where Alder liked jumping off of at the very beginning of the game. Man, that's already quite a while ago. Time flies, doesn't it? So, flying back to Bobtown, we are now going to head over to Route 20. Because there's more stuff to be done there. Unfortunately, and I can't stress this enough, what we've seen of Route 20 is just a rather small part of the place, because, trust me when I say this place is actually pretty massive, and we still can't do everything in that place just yet, for two reasons which I will get into shortly. Over here we have a hidden item, which is a heart scale. Over to the left, there's a waterfall that you can only go up when you have the waterfall HM, so we can't do anything about that quite yet. And over here, we have two items that can only be reached when it's fall. And here there is grass with nothing beyond that grass. So we're pretty much done on Route 20. So next up, we are going to go to Burbank City, because remember how there's like an upper level and a lower level where you can surf on? Well, now we can explore that lower level as we wish. There are only two items that can be obtained this way, however. There is the hidden item, which we're going to get to right now. At least the dowsing machine will stop pinging whenever I take a step in this city. So it's a pearl. And the other one, to get to it, if I remember, first you want to head over to the left, then up, and yep, I was right. Too bad I was interrupted by a random battle. So I have a favor to ask of you guys, because I'm fairly certain that I'm going to forget to come back to Route 20 once fall comes around. So as a result, I would like to ask you guys on November 1st to remind me, hey Slowflake, go back to Route 20, there's some stuff that you can get there, and there are also some trainers that you can fight on the lower ground that we cannot get to right now, so I would really, really like it if you guys reminded me around November 1st to go back there, because there's still tons of stuff to do there. Next destination, the Relic Passage that we have been to just now. This is the second area. You might remember this one right here. Respawning Blue Shard, much like the ones on Iron Island in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This one respawns every day. I know this for a fact because I double-checked and I made sure that I collected it the last time I was here. Here we have a big pearl. And finally, one more thing that we can do at Surf, and it's on Route 6. It's pretty much the same thing as in the first game. Right here, there's a little alcove that you can grab a heart scale from very well. So now, let's use Surf and continue on with our journey. We are not very far off where we finished the last video, and you know what? I'm gonna head up there because dowsing machine's pinging, so that means that there is something over there. There's a visible item that I'm going to grab, as well as an invisible one further down from where I am currently. So yeah, this little surf tour, not nearly as long as some of the other ones, because in most of the other games, gaining access to surf opens up access to a lot of new areas, but here it's just a whole bunch of dead ends with some items, and, well, there's the one on Route 20 that also has a few trainers, but aside from that, really nothing all that impressive. Well, not that I'm complaining, it allows me to get back into, the interesting things that much quicker, because either way, there's another optional area coming up, which is Mr. Alton Cave, which I can now get to much earlier in this game than I could in Black and White 1, because in that game I needed to have beaten Skyla in order to be able to obtain the Surf HM. However, right now I already have it and I haven't even gone through Chargestone Cave yet, so as a result, yeah. It's very cool that I'm able to do this now instead of needing to backtrack. Anyway, fun little story. Well, more like depressing, but whatever. Let's not get into that. I was talking about type balance a few videos ago, and I picked that item up already, didn't I? Well, I guess this is another one, a respawnable one. This tiny mushroom will probably be coming back here every day. Just like the blue shard in the Relic Passage. So, yeah, I was talking about type balance the other day and how Psychic really got nothing in return for for the Dark type being immune to it, which it didn't need, by the way, because, well, we all know how Psychic was OP in Generation 1, how it was so good because Psychic, the move, had a 30% chance of lowering the special stat at the time, which was both special attack and special defense, so that was like the best added effect in the entire game, and you had a 30% chance of that happening, and then Psychic basically only resisted itself. The other types were super effective against Psychic or complete crap. In fact, Ghost wasn't even super effective against Psychic at the time. In fact, Psychic was immune to Ghost, so yeah, Psychic really didn't need anything to buff itself at that point. But how is that related to what I'm trying to say here? Well, we all know how much YouTube is a cesspool of ignorance. Well, aside from you guys, I wouldn't trade you guys for any other fan base on this godforsaken site. But either way, what I'm trying to get at here is that I saw a comment about, the addition of the fairy type as an attempt to deter the overuse of dragon types, and his brilliant argument was that, well, fairy types aren't gonna do shit to lower the dragon usage, because look at the dark type. Are psychic types being used any less since the dark type is there? Yeah, someone actually said that. I am not kidding. I don't know what game this guy has been playing, because it sure as hell isn't Pokémon. I mean, seriously? Have you even seen the difference between Gen 1 Psychic and Gen 2 Psychic? Gen 1 Psychic was the most broken thing ever, even more broken than Generation 4 and 5 Dragon type could ever hope to be. And from Generation 2 onwards, it's not the worst type, but it's still fairly low tier. Like, if you're Mono Psychic, you need pretty dang good assets in order to deserve to be used. Of course, Alakazam was always a pretty strong special sweeper, and now the fact that it has Magic Guard pretty much cemented its place in overused as, I would almost say, a replacement to Reuniclus, even though both stat spreads are completely different. Gen 4 Azelf was also very strong offensively. There are also a few exceptions like that, but Psychic, overall, not the most impressive type. Oh my god! I did not expect that. I'm going to come back to that train of thought a bit later, because Cobalion just appeared. Unfortunately, it goes away right away, so I can't even attempt to catch it, but it's going to come in not too long. Don't worry about that. And yeah, anyway, Rude and some random old guy pop up and talk about Cobalion and basically its lore and stuff that we already know from the first game, but in case you haven't seen the first game, you were going to get a repeat of that. You know, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion fought against humans to protect the Pokemon against the war they had started, and, you know, that's basically the same thing. The only difference is that you have to work a bit less to get the the legendary trio this time around, because they just appear on routes like Cobalion did just now, and you have to catch them. That's it. They're not even runners. There are no runners whatsoever in this game, in fact. But yeah, basically Rude suggests that maybe Ghetsis' new ambition is the thing that alerted Cobalion, and that's why we're seeing it. And soon we're going to also see Terrakion and Virizion running around. But, speaking of Ghetsis, I'm going to come back to that subject probably next time, because I don't think I'll have the time to get to that today. But, yeah, and by the way, before you ask, yes, I know the trick for getting the legendary trio easier, and I will do it, meaning that I will kill all three of them in the main game and only attempt to catch them in the post-game. But yeah, I guess the point of this scene here was to establish that Cobalion is sensing potentially a new threat coming from Team Plasma, and of course, Rude isn't terribly fond of it. Oh, here's Chargestone Cave. We're not going to head there quite yet, though, because as I said before, we can access Mistralton Cave much earlier. Oh, there's a house right here. This hiker doesn't want to fight, okay. The Pharaoh Seed were adorable. I don't think, when you think of adorable Pokemon, Pharaoh Seed is the first one that jumps to mind. Even maybe the first 50 adorable Pokemon, Pharaoh Seed wouldn't be on that list, but whatever floats this guy's boat, I guess. Is there anything of interest in here? Celestial Tower on Route 7, we are going to go there in a while, of course. Here we have, okay, I think she's going to heal my Pokemon, which is a pretty good location for that, considering that we're pretty close to the entrance of both Chargestone Cave and Mistralton Cave. Mistralton Cave, which, by the way, is still much closer to Driftvale than to Mistralton, so it's kind of a weird name to give it. And a Shiny Stone, in case you want to evolve Pokemon like, for example, Togetic, Minccino, and others like Roselia. So this is basically what it does. And back to what I was talking about, though, before I got interrupted. As I was saying, Psychic became a pretty low-tier type from Generation 2 onwards, but not the worst. Especially, consider all the nerfs that Psychic has gotten in Generation 2. Steel started resisting it. Dark came around and was completely immune to it, and super effective as well. Ghost became super effective against it. Suddenly there was a good bug move, which was Mega Horn as well. Psychic itself got nerfed. Instead of a 30% chance to lower both special attack and special defense, it was a 10% chance to lower special defense. So that was a really drastic nerf, and yet Psychic, when it comes to the worst types, it's not really quite there. It's always normal and poison that get mentioned. But Psychic, well, it's rather low tier and not particularly threatening compared to some of the bigger types. But it's the point is that after all that, it's still not the worst. Which just goes to show you just how absolutely and utterly broken it was in Generation 1. And, oh, we got an item here. I was about to call it a day, but TM56 Fling, not very useful, at least compared to the Energy Ball we got at the beginning. But anyway, this time, I am going to call it a day, so I'll see you next time when we head into Mistralton Cave. Oh, right, I need Flash for this. Oh, great. My favorite type of dungeon. This is going to be fun!